Are we in? Someone say something when we're in. Oh, is it buffering? We're on. Hey, right. So, we've not got a YouTuber this time. We've got my father-in-law.
I didn't think you were going to admit to that, actually.
Father-in-law.
Father-in-law.
Right, in-law, because he likes... Yeah. He's here to talk about XR Fords.
Or any performance Ford, if you like.
Any performance. Well, you're a bit of a Ford.
I'm a Ford geek, haven't I?
Yeah. You are to Fords what I am to Citroens, probably.
Yeah, definitely. I would think that is the case, mate. Yeah.
So I'm out of my comfort zone. So I know
you are. I don't know how you've worked on my vehicle. Well,
no, I mean
You did a lot of restoration work on the vehicle.
I had my I had a Fiesta Z-Tech S.
Nice cars.
Mark 5. It was a good car. Yeah, it was a good car. That.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that.
Based on the Puma.
Yes.
That's probably why.
But I prefer the Fiesta to the Puma.
Well, a lot of people do.
I like the look of the Fiesta.
Puma a bit girly, aren't they? But once you start driving one, Pumas do go quite well and they handle very, very well.
Yeah.
But the Z-Tech S, Ford's answer to the old XR2i, I suppose, but they didn't badge it as such. I've heard that you can put Puma engines in and stuff like that, but
I think it would go. I think it would be better with the Puma engine.
Would it upset the handling balance?
Yeah, no, possibly.
Because I think that's what was round for the straight line speed.
It's not what it's about. No.
But going round the twisties, it was probably the best handling Ford Fiesta ever at the time.
Yeah.
I've not driven a new ST. I've heard a few of them popping and banging down the road, but I've not heard
pop and bang map, yo.
The pop and bang map, don't just love it. TVR were doing that about 40 years ago, weren't they?
Yeah, but not on purpose.
Not on purpose. Just on burnt fuel going through.
You had the ST 150.
I had one of them. Yeah, we had one of them.
But you preferred the Z-Tech S?
Yes, without a doubt. Yeah. We thought the ST 150 when we bought it would be everything the Z-Tech S was, with a bit more performance. But no, it tended to wheel spin everywhere, even though you weren't trying, couldn't put its power down very well. And it wasn't particularly quick, really. It wasn't what you thought from 150 bhp. Sort of warm hatch sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know? So it was never the car for us, really. So we moved that on quite quickly, actually, and lost a lot of money. Not like me, I normally make money on my cars, as you know. But
I don't.
Yeah. But yeah, my love for Fords, I don't know where it come from, really. I suppose you got to be back in the day, the 80s, the early 80s. I first bought my XR3, a 4-speed.
Oh, so not an XR3i?
No, it's the early XR3s, which were 1980 to 82. They were 4-speed manual, Weber carburetted. Looked very, very nice. And went okay for the time.
For the time, yeah, relative, isn't it?
It's all relative, mate, yeah, at the end of the day. And it had a great reception from Ford. So much that, at the end of the day, they decided to warm it through. Mainly because of Golf GTI. Golf GTI was the sort of car that everyone wanted to copy, if you like.
Yeah.
Imitate. And yeah, the Golf GTI had a waiting list as long as your arm at the time, so Ford sort of jumped in there, really. But
so when did the RS 1600i come into it? Was that before?
No, the RS 600i was the motorsport version of the XR3, as opposed to the XR3i.
Okay, and they had mechanical injection, didn't they?
Yeah, they all had mechanical. Yeah, sorry, they all. The RS 609 XR3i had the K-Jectronic fuel injection system, again from the Golf, similar to the Golf system. But at the time, the likes of VW and other manufacturers were taking as much Bosch stuff which you could make. So Ford were a little bit behind that. The only fuel injection Ford car had in 1980 was a Granada. That's the only one, a 2.8 litre V6. So the RS600i, that was a motorsport development for racing of the XR3. So some of the characteristics of the XR3, i.e. suspension bits and bobs, were over to the RS600i. RS600i was obviously 5-speed. The earlier XR3 XR3s were 4-speed.
We've got a question there. How much power did the 1600i have?
115 bhp.
Same as a... No, a little bit more than a Golf at the time.
Yeah, the Golf was 112 from 1.8. Because I think, no,
It was still 1.6.
1.6 back in 81, yeah, 81, 82. 82 went to 1.8, didn't it, Golf GT?
Yeah.
So yeah, 110.
It was there or thereabouts, isn't it?
Yeah, but Golf was a lot lighter as well. So, you know...
But the Escort had all independent suspension.
It did, yeah. There's many a tale, isn't there, about what was fitted to RS600Is and what wasn't.
Well, there was a guy who worked around here, and he said he had an RS1600i, and he had to get some work done on it or something like that, and it cost a fortune because all the wishbones and things were bespoke, like they were only for the RS1600i. I thought, were they? Yeah, I don't know. So I didn't know enough to say, but I thought...
Sounds like a workshop trying to get a bigger build to me.
Maybe, yeah. It cost me an arm and a leg. I thought I bet it did.
But obviously RS69 15-inch wheels.
That's true. Ian's just said Whiteland Restorations, which is a channel we had on yesterday.
Yeah.
They just had an RS1600i in.
Right.
In blue that was like...
It's called Caspian Blue.
Yes.
Caspian Blue was the RS600i colour. You probably don't remember the one we were going to go and buy from York. I think I've mentioned this before, and you got a bloody memory like a sieve anyway, so you don't remember.
It's fair.
Back, must be about 15 years ago, when we were doing, I was still doing a bit of buying and selling. I bid on eBay.
Was it a white one?
On a white RS600i.
I do, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know what they were.
No, you probably didn't know.
No.
Obviously I did. And I think it was about 1,700 quid at the time. I was outbid at the last minute. And we needed to trail it down, and you said, oh, it's not a problem, because you had all the stuff and everything here at the time. And I bid something like 1,650 for it, and that's what I thought it was worth, to do little bits on it and obviously flip it, make a bit of money on it. And then I got a second chance offer, and me being me thinks, ooh, well, you know, he's second chance offer, he's pretty ripping me off, blah blah blah. And I spoke to you about it and everything. And cut long story short, we never went on and got it, we never bought it, and now, if you look at the price of the bloody things, that's the story of my life, really, to be honest. I've done it a few times. I bought an Audi TT instead of Focus RS.
Yeah. Well, someone here is saying they've got a local chap, they know a guy with a Harrier.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's a Chop's Garage. He's on later doing the prize giveaway.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So he knows a local chap, the Harrier, an RS, and an XR3, all mint tucked away. Which, to be honest, is kind of like the story, isn't it? Like, they just don't come out.
They don't come out too much anymore.
It's a shame.
They're so rare, aren't they, really, I suppose? That's what it is. Harrier, unusual story behind the Harrier. A lot of people think that's an RS. It's not really.
Does it take off like that?
No, not with 94 BA.
Not even off a bridge.
The Harrier was brought out late 79 to celebrate Ford's rallying achievement at the time with the RS 1800. Purely a road car.
So why did they call it the Harrier?
I don't know.
Oh.
Honestly, don't know. Harrier? Well, Ford marketing at times, you know, leaves you a bit confused with some of their badging, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe go on about that later.
It was they were like itching to get home, and I'll come up with something. I don't call it Harrier. Right, let's go.
Yeah, maybe they were doing Harrier trials on the aircraft.
Yeah. One flew over. They went Harrier.
Harrier, yeah.
There you go. That'll do.
That's good. 1,500 made Harriers.
Is that it?
That was it. Yeah. Mainly white and silver. That's the only two. Recaro seats, RS alloys. Basically 600 Sport Stroke GT engine, which went on to power a year later the old XR2, Mark 1 XR2.
Well, Whitelands have also said that they've got a Super Sport in next.
Okay, I can mention a little bit about the Super Sport. Super Sport was made up purely from Ford going into what we call the X-Pack market. X-Packs were dealer-fitted extras based around a normal car. So you could get arches, you could get wheels, suspension, engine upgrades, whatever. By the time you started doing all this, they ended up being a fortune. Super Sport come from that. It was basically based on a standard 1300S Fiesta, 66 brake horsepower.
Is that it?
That was it. Yeah, 1.3, 66 horses.
I suppose if it weighs 800 kilos,
it was
in the
quite
70s, yeah, it's not.
And then they put a body kit on it. Some wheels, some stripes, S seats, some gear bits inside, and to be honest, it sold like hotcakes. And they only made, was it 3,000? I think 3,000 of them, various colours, red, white,
Mainly red,
black and silver.
Yeah. Then they have like the checker seat pattern.
That's it, yeah, the colour checkered trim taken from Capri at the time, or very similar to the Capri. Yeah, so that was a Super Sport, and that paved way against the XR2 because it sold so well. There is a couple of special ones knocking around, the X-Pac Fiestas, where people actually, or the dealers actually fitted the 1.6 Kent unit in them, in a Super Sport, or in a 1.3S. And again, they gave out, slightly tuned, they gave out about 90 horsepower. Not many of them around.
That would go all right.
Yeah, it was quite well, yeah. Certainly when you put, if you geared it up with the, I think it was the 1100S gearing at the time. So it run out of puff at about 99, 100. It's actually screaming its head off. But acceleration for its day was around 9-ish, 9 and a bit seconds.
So right, 9 seconds in the 70s, late 70s.
Yeah, late 70s.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. And the first one of them came out about 79. I think the most famous X-Pac one for your TV buffs would be the Professionals.
We had this TV quiz last night.
I fell asleep for it, unfortunately. It
was on at 11, to be fair.
I was going to be interested in that. I thought it was quite good. But yeah, another TV quiz question then, yeah. Which X-Pac Ford was in the Professionals? It was a Mark II Capri. Mark II Capri, 3 litre S with X-Pac body kit, which is mainly the arches and stuff like that. But then, yeah, the X-Pac Capri could be anything up to 200 horsepower, triple Webbers, 12 to the gallon, I suppose.
There's no point having all the power because you get caught up because you'll be at the petrol station.
A bit like a Tesla, would you? I had that a couple of weeks ago with a Tesla driver. He says, "Oh yeah, that's a nice car, but I'll race it." I said, "Yeah, Liverpool and back."
I'll just drive it 70. It's fine. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hair in the tortoise.
Electric cars, don't get me going.
But we've got a guy on here, Charlie Manson, says sadly his brother's XR4 went straight into a private collection in southern Scotland, but was restored completely.
Right, XR4s, wow.
So you're getting on to XR4Is, I suppose, aren't you?
Yeah, XR4Is.
Chops Garage did ask, he said, what would you say is the Ford that's fun to drive and definitely a future classic but hasn't hit silly money yet?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's just quite a lot.
He's a dealer, so that's why he wants to know. Yeah, he's like, he's about to hit Auto Trader.
Right, anything sporty with a Ford badge on it. The car we just mentioned earlier on, Zetec S Fiesta. I think that is.
Well, you're not that.
That's got legs.
Yeah.
If you can get them now, again, like most Fords do, right away, don't they? ST170, I think. That's got legs. Depends really. I suppose the later Focus, possibly. That's years down the line. But if you say today, I'd probably look at 4 cars: ST200 Mondeo, which you had one. ST220, possibly. Puma Racing's already gone. They were $4,500 not so long ago. They're now well out. Missed the boat on them. But yeah, I think ZSS, ST, and in my book, it's got to be colour, and I think you've got to go for the Imperial Blue.
Well, someone's asked, what about the sport car?
Sport car? Yeah. Underrated car. Too girly, aren't they? But everybody,
all the girls in here just went.
Yeah. But everyone who's ever driven one will tell you it could have done a lot more power. It was a basis of a rally car, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. They did a sport car rally car.
Okay.
Going back, yeah. But yeah, sport car. Yeah, again, I think it's got to be blue. I don't know so much the street car. Unless you're into Kylie Minogue.
Oh, that was in the car. She was in the advert.
It must have cost a fortune.
Yeah.
Bending over.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kylie in the street car. But again, they're just engine-wise.
The engine wasn't much in them, was it? It was a overhead cam version of the Kent.
Something like that, 1600.
Road cam, they called it.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, but yeah, street car, sport car, yeah. Anything with a sporty badge, really, isn't it? You know what Ford to like. Who would have said, some of these XRs.
You're going to like this one.
Go on.
Because he's not going to get the answer he's expecting.
Go on.
As a Ford man, says Brian Stevenson, what is your opinion on the Ford Probe? And it's not
It's,
I know what's coming.
I know what's coming. You know what's coming. I'm in a very fortunate position about the Ford Probe. We were the bit of background on myself. I started working. I left the forces in 1988. Submarine service, as you know, and then as part of what we call a resettlement program for forces guys, they send you on some courses to, if you know basically what you want to do. If you don't know what you want to do, they just say, there's your money, kick your ass, and go. If you know roughly what you want to do, the forces will get behind you and pay for you and do whatever. And I wanted to be into sales and marketing at the time. So my ideal job was jumping in my company, bloody, I don't know, Cavalier, going up and down, flogging Mars bars and coming home at night.
A sales rep.
That's what I wanted to be.
Oh.
That's what I wanted to be. But anyway, so I said that's fine. So they sent us on a sales, marketing, and management course up in Streatham College, South West London. That's where we went, and we did a 6-week study course and a few exams and whatever. And then on the day you went back to get your results and everything, outside literally were people queuing up to offer ex-forces with some personality, with some qualifications, jobs.
And you. And you.
And me. I'm thinking shit. And one of them was Ford Motor Company. And they were looking for sales executives, marketing executives and stuff like that. So obviously me being into my Fords at the time.
You thought cars, yeah.
Pardon?
A bit of you.
Definitely a bit of me, as you know. So I approached the Ford guys, and cut long story short, I started working for them. Spent a bit of time up in Worley and Dunton, but at the time they wanted me to commute. I spoke to the family, which is a funny, strange thing then, Richard, really, isn't it? Because if we would have got up there, we wouldn't be probably sat here now.
No.
But yeah, we eventually came down here, back to where I was living. We lived in the South Coast for a while, and started getting into the dealers and sort of fast tracking to management that way. Anyway, getting back to the original question about the Probe. So back in 1992, we went to the Mondeo launch, and that was at Bristol. Nice lunch, bit of wine, bit of flowing and everything. And then there was a few of us who were sort of like more petrol-heady than others. Some car salesmen just sell anything, don't they? You know what I mean? You just it's a product to sell, isn't it? Yeah. But to me, I had to have a bit of passion or maybe a little bit
of enthusiasm
about
what you were selling. Yeah.
So I couldn't go and sell X, Y, and Z without upsetting other people on the channel. But Ford was fine by me, market leader, 25-30% market share. Anyway, in the corner there was a prototype Ford Probe, left-hand drive. Come over from America to do some evaluation for British market, and I was privileged then to have a drive in it. It was a GT, which in this country was 24 valve, and give our assessment on it. And the main thing we were sorting out was the suspension on the car. The suspension from American cars, German cars, British cars. Basically, what works in America doesn't work in Britain.
No, different roads.
Vice versa, different ride and handling characteristics. So yeah, we put that through its paces, and we had it for an hour or two each and whatever, and then we went back and basically made some notes on what we felt, because again we were supposed to be petrol heads, about what we felt about the Probe. So yeah, so I'm privileged on that way. The looks at the time in 1992, I can assure you, were far out. Maybe not as far out as maybe my other passion, the XR4i, when that hit the streets in '83. But the Probe, it did look well. The reason I think as well as that is that on the American ones, you don't have a front number plate, do you? Now, if you look at a Probe from the front, and its sharp nose and everything, it was a good-looking car. A lot of people disagree. Good-looking car.
Luckily, it's subjective.
It is subjective. I thought it was.
Luckily, you cannot be wrong.
But you can't be wrong. But then again, most of the motor journalists thought it was a good-looking car as well back in the time. They won't admit it now.
Afford a bit of money in their pocket.
Maybe ask Mr. Robbins, he might know.
Yes,
But yeah, to a lot of people, it was a good-looking car. Plastic as hell inside, which felt a bit. Mazda engines, as you well know.
Yeah. Well, it's basically an MX-6, isn't it?
MX-6, yeah, which came out first, in fact, really. But don't forget, when the MX-6 came out, the Ford were developing what we call Probe 2. The earlier Probes were Probe 1, which was somewhat 86 to 89, I think. They were 2.3s, 2.3 turbos. which the Americans seem to get into, didn't they? The 2.3 turbo, they seem to plonk that into everything.
But you do know you can use other engines. You don't have to.
Well,
use
yeah,
that
but
the Lima engine.
what the 2.3 wasn't it? We had the turbocharged it. First ones were non-intercooled, so we're a little bit laggy, a little bit. But yes, getting back to the probe. My opinion on the probe: A, I'm biased, and B, back in 1994 when we launched it in March of 94. I beg your pardon. It was my company car of choice.
Hang on. So, if you'd gone to Ford UK and gone, no, I don't like that, and enough people had done that, we wouldn't have had it.
I don't know. No, I think they're committed to sell it in Britain, mate.
I'm not saying it's your fault.
No.
Right.
I think the Capri has a lot to do with it, doesn't it? You know, this whole...
That's the problem. That's the mistake they made, because they were like, it's the new Capri. And
they said that. I don't think we ever said it was the new Capri.
No.
You know what I mean? So, you know, and the same with the XR4i. It's the new, you know, the shape, and it's a 3-door coupe, but it's not. It's a 3-door hatch, wasn't it? It's the new Capri. It'll take over from the Capri. They're right in that respect with the 4i. They'd want additionally that the 4i would take over from the 2.8, give it a bit of, you know, you got the engine and all the configuration from the Capri, and then you were going on about making 2-litre versions of the XR4i, which we eventually got as a 2-litre S, I suppose, back in '85. But yeah, we were the plan originally on the 4i would have been, it took over the Capri, and they did make slightly cheaper sporting models. But the Probe, I've got no bad word to say about the Probe. My company car.
He was expecting something completely different.
I bet he was.
He was expecting you to start spitting blood.
No,
and just like
I think, you know, at the end of the day, I changed them every 3 months, which was good news for me. So I never really I used to run them in because I used to live 10 minutes down the road from the dealer. So I used to sort of run them in, and then we sold them on as second-hand cars. But they were a hard sell. They weren't
a popular car, were they?
They weren't popular. Too Americanised, possibly. I think we got the suspension right. I'll take a bit of credit for that. Too low geared, too fuzzy on the motorway. Probably not enough performance. Needed 200 horsepower. Certainly when the likes of Peugeot were then coming out with the coupe with 200 brake. Fiat coupe were coming out with 200 brake. A lot of the coupes were coming out.
The coupe game moved. The Corrado, the Calibra. It was like you're a bit left behind there, boys.
It was. Yeah. Engine-wise, it was. Maybe handling. Don't know. Looks again subjective.
I think it's got some tough competition.
It did.
Calibra looked fantastic when that came out.
89 as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Corrado, good looking car.
Yeah.
406 is just.
Oh, they're taking off now as well, the Corrados, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah, they will do.
But, you know, 406 haven't done that well yet, have they?
Not yet. No. They're just starting to go.
Yeah.
To the very, very best ones are now. People will pay for them, but it's quite a small pool of people that want them.
I think
but you can still get them for next to nothing. There was someone selling one the other day, like I had, for 800 quid, a 3-litre V6, and you're like, try and find a car. Like, I mean, Cougars is the only other one that's going to be that kind of money.
Well, yeah. Well, again, Cougar, don't tell you there. If anyone wants to know a bit about Cougars, right in. The Peugeot 406 literally looked like a mini Ferrari.
Well, yeah, it was almost apparently like it was. It was
gorgeous looking thing, to be honest, wasn't it? But
Peugeot were on their A game at that time, weren't they?
Well, I think so. Yeah,
they really were on it. But then they started going downhill, and Ford started coming up. So the Focus Mark 1 Focus was.
I think so. Yeah,
I'm not mad on them, but
but yeah.
But Steve's just gone mad in the chat if he's there because he loves them. He's got one of the earliest ones in the country.
What's that Focus?
Yeah, it's an S-Reg.
Okay. S-Reg, it'll be what, 99? Oh no, 98.
He's got he's told me before when it was built. And I was like, oh right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, I can be a bit privileged there because we went to the Fiesta, new Fiesta launched back in '95. Say new Fiesta, it was facelifted, wasn't it, from the old 3-door, and in the corner again was a prototype vehicle, bit heavily disguised, so we couldn't even, Ford reps couldn't have a look, and we had a quick look inside and everything, thought, oh, this is quite handy, isn't it? And then we couldn't drive it, but if you wanted to go out, one of the Ford lads took you out in it, so we took it out and everything, and to be honest, it was a game changer. And that car ended up being a Ford Focus, and that was what, 95, 96 when they were still developing it. So yeah, Focus. I think anything with Richard Paddy Jones's name on it really has got You know,
Yeah, he
something
did. He
about
knew
it.
what he was doing about balance, didn't he? It was
He
just like
certainly
just
did.
everything just about right. Not too fast, not too edgy, just enough
Yes.
of everything. It
Yeah,
was
that's what he
to get-
wanted, wasn't it? You know, yeah, because at the end of the day, performance car for the family man, really was
Yeah.
what he was all about. And to
Like
be
you can
honest-
have fun in a normal car. You can have fun in a 1.4.
Yes,
You know, it's
yeah,
just
yeah. His baby was the 1.4 Fiesta SI, which to be honest was a cracking little car, which is basically a Z-Tech S really, just with a little less power. Richard Paddy Jones's best claim to fame for White Van Man was he was the guy who made the sort of like the 2000 year Ford Transit drive like a car.
they drove so well. They really do drive well.
That
Yeah.
was Richard Paddy Jones.
Yeah. If someone said to me now, you've got to go and drive somewhere in a van, I'd be one of the ones I want. Even the seat was soft.
Go in a Transit.
Yeah, that era of Transit is just on it.
Turbocharged and 100 mile an hour.
Yeah,
You know, allegedly down the autobahns.
Yes.
100 mile an hour on the autobahns. That's what they could do.
Or around
They're
Nürburgring.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we've all seen. I take it most petrolheads have seen the Top Gear thing with Clarkson and his Jag and should be in the Transit.
Someone asked earlier on about a guy from Australia. Has asked any opinions or experience with the XR4s from Australia, like the XR6, the XR6 Turbo, the XR8.
I don't know a great deal about what I do know about the Australians is they first sort of mention into the market in the XR brand was called the Capri XR2 from 1989, and which was basically a Mazda MX-5. So,
Okay.
Yeah, it was turbocharged.
Ian's going to know this because he was in Australia for ages. And
Right, yeah, he might know them then. It was a Capri
XR2.
It was a two-door, roof-down car. I don't think it was a big seller.
Sounds wrong.
It does to people in Europe, I suppose.
Yeah.
to the Aussies, probably
but
not.
That's an oxymoron. It doesn't go together.
It doesn't go together. Obviously, the XR name lives on did live on in Australia with the XR4 and XR5, which basically we know over as the STs. Fiesta ST and Focus STs were XR4s and XR5s.
So I'm struggling with the chat because the people are like throwing the questions in.
Okay, well we'll try and keep the responses a little bit shorter then if I can.
So one guy said, and I think it's it's a good follow on from that one, but I just lost it. There we go. How different is a UK XR4i from a Merca XR4 Ti?
Okay, XR4 Ti.
So is that American, the Merca?
Yeah, but it's built over here. Sorry, not over here.
In Belgium.
In Belgium, basically, Genk.
Well, the XR4.
The XR4 Ti probably came about a little bit because the XR4i didn't do quite as well over here. The cynic in me says they were probably left with a lot of body shells, they couldn't move.
And once again, they put that Lima engine.
The Lima engine, the 2.3 Lima Turbo, 170 brake horsepower.
Show an XR4 a clean pair of hills, then?
Not really.
No.
Yeah, well,
the spread of torque, I suppose.
Yeah, obviously, I think the 2.8's got a little bit more torque where it matters. But what people don't forget is the Ti was significantly heavier. The American legislation with the bumpers.
Right, yes,
and bits and bobs. So it weighed a fair bit more than its European counterpart.
Right, I'm with you.
Again, another cult car, really. Didn't particularly take off
They
brilliantly.
look very similar to the XR4, don't they?
Yeah, different lights. We all know about the American indicators. So the American indicators are built into the bumpers. Obviously, all left-hand drive, air conditioning option. But yeah, it's basically the interior was basically an 85 spec XR4i. Engine-wise, you can have an automatic, which obviously the Americans quite like. Air conditioning, which the Americans obviously quite like. But yeah, turbo, 2.3, 170 horsepower, very, very similar looking. Most confusing thing is the name, Merkur, or however you pronounce it, isn't it? It's German for Mercury.
Okay, which of course that is the brand they go with.
Brand with over there, which obviously the first ever XR ever come out was an XR7.
No, I read this somewhere. It was something like they used the German version of it because they wanted to sort of indicate European quality, sort of thing. Like,
I don't know European quality, but yeah, I think
it was like it seems a little bit more like sophisticated.
I think at the time, Rover were trying to get into the American market.
Well, yeah, we had
800 sterling.
Oh, who was it? Was it James who was on at 12? Was saying about he talked to a guy in Texas.
Yes.
When he was in America, saying about selling the Sterling 827.
Yeah, that's it.
And he's like, they sell because it's a British car with Japanese mechanics. Everyone wanted it.
Yeah.
And then 3 months later, they all came back.
Electrical problems.
Yeah.
And
he's like, only the Brits could make a Japanese car reliable.
Well, yeah.
It's like,
well, obviously started off with an 825, I think it was, wasn't it? 825 first, yeah.
Yeah, it might be, yeah.
To go over from the old SD1 or SDI, SD1.
Hello.
Come on, let's get on.
Number 27's in. Hello, number 27.
Yeah.
People are saying he got demonetised.
Who's what? What's that mean?
It means that you can't have full monetization on the video. Like you don't get full money because your stream is deemed not PC enough or not clean enough, or you say something like you can't say that someone has been. If you were to go to war and your enemy is in front of you, and you were to unalive them, to the opposite of alive.
Okay.
If you say those words, you get demonetized.
Like Russell Brand.
Not quite as bad as that, actually. Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, he got away with saying what he wanted for ages.
Yeah.
But
let's not go there.
I don't think Jack did get. He did get demonetized. Yeah. He didn't even swear. I think it's going to be me. It's going to be it'll be something I said. And I'll probably just. No, we haven't. But but Jack has. No, and Jack didn't either. I'm pretty sure he didn't. I think it's probably something I said. Like I probably just said something, and the algorithm's sensitive and it picks things up. So where are we gone? Now I tell you what. Now I got told what in between things, Mr. Planet Man put in a huge donation.
Oh right.
So part of this total that we've got, I didn't realise it said anonymous on here, but I was informed.
What are we on?
8,171.
Oh, well done, everyone.
We are
8171.
We are close to last year, and it's 10:41.
Oh, come on then, old Ford enthusiasts. Then I didn't think there'd be too many on your streams, though, Rich.
No, we've got a lot of Australian people.
Oh yeah,
and they think I love Australian Fords.
Oh, only because of
they're wrong.
Next door's car.
I don't.
Oh.
I respect it.
Yes, I
respect it, and a lot of talk. That AU Falcon Fairmont, whatever Fairmont
was it? Yeah.
Is I have never ever pulled away from a junction in a car that just makes it. It's just so easy to pull away. Like it is no trouble at all. You just take your foot off the brake and just touch the throttle. And it's so smooth, and it's like not a problem. And if you feel like if you were parked on a hill like that, it would just go not a problem. So it's just gutsy. And it tell you what, like we were talking about German cars and stuff earlier on, like German cars are tough and everything. No, they're not. That is tough. That AU man, they're made to go across those rough Australian roads,
aren't they?
Yeah. And you just feel it's like a tank. You're just like.
It must be pretty rare in this country as well.
I wouldn't know what Ian will tell you, but I imagine they're bloody rare.
Yeah. Do you remember when you came you came a couple of years ago? I think you were working on the firm out here. You were just getting something ready, and you my car needed something doing for a show, I think. And you dropped the firm on outside my house. You took the 4i into working, and it stayed outside for a couple of days. And it was filthy dirty. I was going to wash it for you.
Yeah, you were going to wash it.
Filthy dirty, but anyway.
Because it still had all the dirt from the boat that it came over.
Well, yeah. Well, the next minute, I went out in the morning. There was a police of work sticker on it.
What? I was going to say.
So I had to. It's a joke.
Where we say so. Classic Fords. There we go. So he's got a very unique name, Gray the Floydian Circle.
Okay.
Do you think the values of classic Fords could be detrimental to inspiring the next generation of classic car enthusiasts?
Absolutely.
So like the way the values on some of them have just gone mental.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's totally on the ball there. Traditionally, classic cars, I suppose, certainly what we call the working class classic cars, your normal vehicles, are now getting out of the reaches of, certainly in the Ford circles. The bubble's got to burst. It surely has.
Well, this is what Jack was saying yesterday.
It's got to burst.
Because, it was all about like what car you're going to buy
you know, you can't. The working class man loved his Ford, didn't he? And that's why they sold in such numbers. XRs and even your run-of-the-mill bread and butter cars. They were cheap to buy, easy to maintain, like a fridge. Once it's gone, you change it for something else. But the prices of them now is silly, mate. It really is silly.
I suppose the problem you've got also is that you've got like the prices of now is driven by nostalgia, because all the people who were younger at the time are now.
Yes.
You're a bit of an oddball in this
Yes.
case because you've had one a long time.
Yes.
But there'll be people who've sort of gone back into it and gone like, I grew up with an XR2.
Exactly.
I want to get another one.
Yes.
As a classic car.
Yeah.
The next generation, they're not going to be nostalgic for them because they didn't grow up with them.
No, but they're into the next generation, aren't they? They're into.
So does that mean the values of those earlier ones is going to come down?
I think possibly eventually, yeah. Because if you look at, I think I told you a story about a good friend of mine who restores vintage cars. He did with his father. His father got him, like anything, you know, a son tends to follow his father's footsteps and gets into a little bit more. And they did vintage cars and everything, and he still does it now. And he said the market's dead for it now, you know, because the people who want these vintage cars are basically passed away.
They're gone.
They're all gone. You know, so the market is dead for them.
You've got probably end up with more cars in it than the people who actually want them.
There's nothing, you know. So he still services Model Ts and all the cars like that. He's got Bugatti. Shitty Bang Bang's another story. But he's really into that. But yeah, that market is dead. But yeah, he's right. I think the value of these Fords now, at the end of the day, some of these Fords which are probably worth more than some people's houses now, aren't they? Let's be honest. That's you know, it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous.
Some of the prices are mental.
Yes. Yeah.
But we got Jack says he's been demonetised. Nothing showing on his YouTube. Perhaps it was for suggesting that the VX on the ramp's wheel should be painted the colour of a Phase 2, despite the fact it is a Phase 1, and that would be wrong. So YouTube has obviously demonetised that stream.
Okay.
It's probably not that. Yeah, we got someone here says you're wise.
I'm wise.
You are wise.
Mm.
That's not the word I come up with.
No, you said nerd, didn't you? Yeah,
that was the nice one I came up with.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So we got
knowledgeable was
a fountain of knowledge. I tell you what. So what you could do, is this is going away from the fact you've actually got I forgot about that. You've got some questions there, but man, they are.
Well,
people aren't going to know the answers to these. These are really
no. That's questions what I sometimes get asked when I do things.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to ask.
Actually, no. The top one, I was wondering about the top one, so I'll ask that later. But
go on.
One of the things I'm going to mention now, because of where it is now, is back in the early '80s. There was a car you were going to buy, or you thought about buying, that wasn't a Ford, that would have put you on a very different path.
There was a few, wasn't there?
Yeah. But one of the paths would have had you in with quite a few of the people here.
Okay, right. So, which one was that then? Okay, right. So I replaced the XR3 I had, mainly because I was based in Scotland at the time, and we'd moved down to the south coast. I mean, I needed something, a mile muncher. The old XR3 was 4-speed. To be honest, it took all bloody day to get down here. Not particularly comfortable.
Screaming its nuts off all the way down.
Nuts off. So we, the wife and I decided that we were going to have a quick look round. We had a budget of around £6,500, which, to be honest, in them days was quite a lot.
Sensible budget. Yeah.
You know, it would have bought us at the time a brand new XR2, probably a brand new Peugeot 205 GTI.
None of these would have been any better than the Escort on the motorway, though.
Astra GCE, which the teardrop shaped one in white, I just sort of fancied, just sort of fell in love with that. Couldn't quite afford that one.
Probably good on the motorway.
Yeah, they were quite high.
Not so great around the corners.
Yeah, but I wanted a motorway.
Yeah.
I needed a motorway car, something that would eat the miles up and everything. I always fancied XR4i since I first saw them back in '83. I thought, oh, they're brilliant they are, you know. Never afford one. And then a couple of them started coming up in the price bracket, so it was either sort of like a 12 to 18 month old XR4 or a brand new Peugeot. I think we looked at the Toyota Corolla GT. I think we looked at the Golf GTI. We looked at all the basically the hot hatches, all the well, I was a youngster really, I was only 23, so anything really which sort of gives it a bit of a symbol, a bit of a status symbol to it. But yeah, they're the cars I did look at, but eventually it was the XR4i I bought, mainly because it was a mile muncher, and to be honest, in its day on the motorway there wasn't a great deal which would keep up with 130 mile an hour back in the day, in 1983. But no, it was 85 when I bought it, wasn't it? So it was an 84 car I bought. But yeah. But so what car were you thinking of?
See, you were also looking at cars before that, which had proper suspension.
Oh yeah, one of my dream cars at the time.
Dream car? Wow, all right.
Well, I don't know about dream car, but yes. Now you get to it. I did look at that. It was well before the Escort, actually. It was when I was into quite biggish saloons.
Really an oddball choice
It
compared to
was. Yeah,
everything else.
It was a Citroen. It was a Citroen. Oh no. Yeah,
You wanted a car with actual engineering.
I tell you what, if I still had it now though, it'd probably be on the ramp every 5 minutes. It was a Citroen CX GTI, everyone.
Series 1?
Yeah, it was quite an earlyish one. I think it was a T-plate.
Oh wow.
So it was quite an earlyish one, wasn't it? 2.4.
Silver, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Went the all?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Had the rubber spoiler on the back?
Yeah. I just loved the interior. I loved the looks of the car. It was one of these which was so out there. You know, maybe that's a common thing in some of the cars I buy. But yeah, you know, the looks of it.
Yeah, they're good looking cars.
I was into big cars at the time. I had a Triumph at the time. Well, everyone wanted a Dolomite Sprint or an RS 2000 back in the late 70s, didn't they? I couldn't afford a Dolomite Sprint because of the insurance mainly. But surprisingly, they would let me do on the bigger version, which was the 2005 S, which was basically Dolomite Sprint. Only slightly bigger. The interior was the same. It had alloy wheels, and it's the first car I ever tuned myself as a youngster. We did the head on it with carbs and bits and bobs, and it's the first car I ever done on a rolling road. There wasn't too many rolling roads back in the late 70s.
I can't imagine they were too accurate anyway.
They were probably not. No,
probably water-based ones.
I can't remember. It was Luton. It was in because I was near there at the time. Auto Techniques, I think the place was in Luton. It's the first car I've ever had on a rolling road. And it made 123 horsepower.
That's not bad.
From 105, 106.
Yeah, they're not a powerful.
No, they're a very, very old engine.
They're not sound good
engine. Straight six, yeah, straight six Triumph engine, yeah.
One of the best sounding TVRs I've had in here was a Vixen S3. And it was a 2500.
Yes, 2500. That'll be on what? Probably on Weber's then. Was on that on Weber's or?
No, it was on. I think it was two big SUs.
Big SUs, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah,
Stromberg were one of the two.
Stromberg's on the earlier cars. SUs went on the later ones.
That was one of the best sounding TVRs I've had in it, and the exhaust was cobbled together out of silencers from Quick Fit, not Quick Fit, like Southern Exhaust and
That's
things.
Probably standard for TV.
No, someone had made it. Like it was just like it was a bit of pipe, and then it was like this random silencer, and then there was this, that, and then I was just like, my job was to make it all fit better because it was rubbing. And the gearbox wasn't. He wanted a proper gearbox mount on it because someone had fitted an overdrive from a 2500.
Yeah.
And it was like the mount that they fitted on the gearbox was just horrendous because you had to change gearbox mounts. So I made all that, and he was delighted with it. And I drove the thing, and I thought, oh, this just sounds magical. It's just like it just bellows quietly. It's like it's loud, but it's not loud. It was just this noise. I get bored of V8s because I hear them all the time. You just get desensitised to it. So when you get something in like that, you just think, oh, that is gorgeous.
Yeah. But Triumph were pretty initially in the day, the fuel injection. It was petrol Lucas. Anyway, we're going off tangent again. Let's see the.
So we've got
any more forward questions.
So we got. Oh man, I'm so slow here. Yeah, we got. Someone says, has the Mark 6 Escort been touched on?
No, I can touch on the Mark 6 Escort if he wants. What's his name?
Matthew Mewis.
Matthew. Mark 6 Escort is basically what the Mark 5 Escort of 1990 should have been in the first place, in my opinion. He slowly but surely started to get it right in the sort of 5 years of development of the Escort. As people know, the 1990 Escort didn't have a particularly...
Someone on one of the other YouTubers has just bought a H-Reg white, popular, 5-door, Mark 5 Escort.
Well,
and it is like,
well,
he loves the misery spec car.
Well, that's right, because at the end of the day, the show you go to was at the Unexceptional thing, isn't it? I need to go to that because I'm a bit like that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as.
I wouldn't be able to take the car there, I don't think.
I know you would.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, you can take a 4i in quite easily now because it's not really police at all. Like it's just a car show.
But the likes of that,
there are some really good stuff.
It's a shame that cars, your likes of your basic Metros, Maestros, Monteos, your 306s and things like that, which are now starting to get a bit collectible, aren't they? It's a pity, not more of them are saved, because it's always the performance versions of cars which are saved, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is great. Anyway, quickly, my opinion on the Mark 6 is what it should have been in the first place. It was certainly in RS2000 wise, it was back to where it should have been. They did a 4x4 version. RS2000 4x4.
Did a random thing to do.
Yeah, well, Ford were into the 4x4 market a little bit, weren't they? Obviously, the XR 4x4, the Mark 4 Escort XR3i. There was plenty of prototype 4x4s going around of that.
Do you think it took some of the kind of the image of the Cosworth as well? The fact that was a 4x4 is like, well, we make the RS a 4x4. Everyone's going to be like, oh, it's a mini Cosworth.
What with the XR? If you did an XR3,
with the RS2000.
Oh, the RS2000.
Yeah.
I think they were just trying to cover all markets, weren't they? Really. Plus, the price-wise, Escort Cosworths were a little bit getting out.
And Escort Cosworth's the one. No one's asked the question: is there one that you're not mad on? That would be the Escort Cosworth. It's just a bit.
Yeah. Never drive your heroes, I think is the term, isn't it? With the Escort Cosworth.
No, I've never driven an SM. Someone just said, I love how we live in an age where the Citroen SM, a Maserati-powered French Tour de Force, can be outpriced by a Ford Escort. There's something silly about it. It's this supply and demand.
Exactly.
It's what people want.
The nostalgia of it, isn't it?
Yeah. The thing with the SM is the SM's gone beyond the nostalgia thing now. And it's come out the other side of that, and now it's into collectors.
Yeah.
Which is why you don't see them on the road at all.
Well, they just do them up and put them away, don't they?
They just put them away as investments. And that's sad, really.
Yeah.
Whereas the Fords are still very much like, you go to a car show, you go to the one up the road on every second Sunday or whatever it was, you'll see an old Ford. You'll definitely see one.
Oh, yeah, you see them every day.
You see Orions, you see...
Yeah.
So
I think with the SM, I'm old enough, unfortunately, to remember them brand new, but I never remember seeing one on the road.
Well, they only sold 12,000 or so.
Still quite a lot, really.
Worldwide.
What I do remember seeing, which only ever seen one of these, was its Alfa Romeo counterpart, which is
the Montreal.
Which again, it
what
looked like a supercar.
What a
like
noise! Yeah, they sound.
But Alfa V6s have always been noisy, haven't they?
Yeah.
GTV.
What's V8?
Oh, sorry,
V8, yeah.
The GT, getting back to the GTV, for the V6 GTV.
Yeah, all right,
they were gorgeous. 79, 80
as well, yeah.
I always fancied a Strada as well. In fact, I've only bought.
Mate, if you get a Fiat Strada.
For 1.5 Sprint, and I've only bought one of them as well.
Oh, so I think it's a Fiat Strada. So you get a Fiat Strada, you get to Festival of the Unexceptional, and they'll just be like,
yeah, it's Fiat Strada, yeah.
And just, please, in you go.
Yeah, well, they fell to bits as well.
Yeah, so you wouldn't make it there, it's in Lincolnshire.
105 TC, 130 TC in the UK, that was a decent car, it went quite well. I think it was 125 over in.
So we got someone in there who's just said, Jason Hughes has just said that his brother had an XR4i in the 90s.
Yes.
Which is probably a very common thing for people to say.
Yeah.
A black one, reg was A160 PWS. No trace of it now.
No.
Now you're an XR4 connoisseur, and you run the not register, but kind of.
No. I run a. I've rejoined the XR Owners Club now.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It was a bit of a deal I had to do to show the car up at Donington for the national 40th anniversary national. A number of years ago, when the XR4 came back on the road, there was a market there. There was a place there for. Runs or meetings for cars, which we don't like sort of car clubs really. So we started doing a national, and we started doing it gating. So I run that side of it. and people just normally come to myself, or there's a guy called Alan Patch from the club. He's a friend of mine now. He knows quite a lot as well. So we are now the go-to people for XR4i knowledge bits.
Because you had an XR4i since, as you said, 1985.
1985, yeah. Ran it till I got my company cars, really, and the wife was running around with your wife and my son.
She wasn't at the
in
time.
The back. Wasn't at the time.
Not in the Stone Ages, no.
Not in 85, she wasn't. No. So yeah, she was running out school runs, doing nothing to the gallon. So it got stowed. I didn't want to get rid of it, really. It got stowed. I got company cars, and I bought them runarounds, really, school run cars.
Yeah.
And it just sat there, really, and you know, the rest is history, really. Sat there for years and years and years, and then.
So it might be going out with a test on a test drive with what did you say? He's average? No, he's average, an average YouTuber.
Yeah. He's been hinting on for a while, hasn't he?
He's got he does like
he's got a thing for them as well.
He's having a good weekend. He's driving 2 cars this weekend. He's been wanting to do for a long time.
Yes.
So
yeah.
And the one of tomorrow, he's very excited about.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I don't know which one it is tomorrow. We won't
I won't
reveal, but to be honest, it might sound a little bit obvious now.
Graham Bentley has asked a question that really does not need asking, but we'll go for it anyway.
Go on.
Ford Puma or Vauxhall Tigra?
Sorry. Yeah. I think my reaction says it all, doesn't it? Puma, probably one of the best handling front wheel drive cars. Ooh, I'll put my neck on the line. Ever? Or
Jack's in the chat, and he's got 306 GCI6. He is
good cars.
And then like
without a doubt.
Honda Integra Type R. That's my dream front wheel drive car, pretty much.
I had one of them, didn't I? Well, no, you didn't know me on it. I had to Integra Type R.
Yeah, but you got to really spank them. Like, really.
Yeah, it did. I had one as a company car when I moved on to supermarkets, used car supermarkets back in the early 2000s. I had a 2000 white, obviously, Integra Type R. But again, you had to thrap them to get the most out of it. And then when you did start thrapping them to get the most out of it, all of the road users would look at you and think, who's this tosser?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
I get that anyway. But someone is trying to start a fight because I can answer the question for him. So Gray, the Floyd Circle again has said, I think there ought to be a comparison drawn between the Sierra XR4i and the BX 16 valve.
Completely different cars, aren't
And
we? Let's have a look. We've had this argument, well, debate. We won't call it an argument. We've had this debate. Don't forget.
Well, they're in their fight. They were fighting the same market.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. 4i had finished in '85.
Well, no, but it's the same segment. It's the same. Segment, it's the same price. It's the same.
If you said the BX, sort of GTI 4x4 against an XR 4x4, I'd say you have a point, baby, because they're similar four-wheel drive cars. But BX GTI 16 valve.
Well, it come out 86, very end of 86 is when the first ones were made.
Sierra was dead and buried. XR4i was dead and buried a couple of years before that. Price-wise, how much was GTI brand new then when they come out 16 valves?
Why don't you look in your glasses guide that he's happened to bring with him?
Well, I've happened to bring it just in case anyone says how much was a certain car at a certain time.
This is a proper, I'm not joking on show on this. Look, it's a proper glasses guide.
It's the old glasses guide, yeah. Do you realise I've got about 200 of these? I could just stick them on eBay, really.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to need them anymore.
No, they don't do glasses guide anymore, do they? I think it's all done online. It's all black book, isn't it?
There you go, Citroen.
Here we go, Citroen GSA.
How much is a GSA 13? No, what's?
I'm not. Well, I'm not into my Citroens like you are, mate. But yeah, LNA. Remember them? That's basically a 104, wasn't it?
Yeah. 104 with a Peugeot engine.
GSA, which
5-door GSA special.
One of the lads in the road when I was in submarines up in Scotland, he had a GSA. I remember it was a black one.
And so is the man next door.
Right, has he got one now? Is he?
He's got a black one.
He's got a black. Oh, right. It's quite funky.
Is it special, isn't it? I think it's a special.
I think it might have been. Yeah, it looked quite.
How much were they new?
What, which one? A special?
GSA, 4,600.
Yeah, depending on what year. Look, when they first come out in September '81. 4398 was for the special. But anyway, it's diverging. BX 16, BX 19, GTI 16 valve. Okay, 12985.
They were not cheap cars.
You were not. That's obviously your 86 must be maybe for the European market then.
That's when the car was first, like, they were kind of finished by then. They didn't go on the markets until 87, but I mean, it's an 80.
Well, October 87 is the first pricing they've got on the guide.
So what would a 4i have been in like 85? The last 4i's.
I can tell you. Just so happens.
You wanted a comparison.
I should know it.
You're getting a comparison.
And I should know this off the top of my head, but we'll look at writing. Like the last XR4Is.
He's pretending he doesn't know.
11 grand, 11,108. Unfortunately, though, I don't know of any XR4i which probably sold at full retail price.
I don't think many of the BXs did, to be fair. Considering mine sat in a field for a year before they could shift it.
We were having this conversation with Mr. Hubnup next door a couple of minutes ago. Was that at the time you could get a Golf GTI cheaper than what you could an XR4i back in '84. That's how cheap they got. It was such a Marmite car, the 4i. But yeah, comparison. I don't think there's a comparison.
I mean, the BX is more comfortable, faster, cheaper to run, more practical, lighter, more frugal, more power.
Yeah, cheaper to run.
It will do 40 to the gallon.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
If you go on, if you just drive down the motorway, it'll nudge 40.
Yeah. I suppose. I tell you what, the good thing about a 16 valve Citroen, mate, is that you could probably buy 4 of them for the price of an XR4i.
You say that. You say that. But people are asking silly money for them now, and they're not necessarily selling. But I take that as a positive because I'd rather have a cheap car.
Yeah. Keep them going, mate. Got to keep them living. Got to keep them going. These cars. If everyone liked the same car, the world would be a very sorry place, wouldn't it?
I got smoked by a BX 16 valve in my XR 4x4 around the streets of Hove 20 years ago.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, take me back 20 years ago. Yeah.
20 years ago. Yeah. Probably an older 2.8 XR 4x4 bloody weighing as much as a bloody house with 140 bhp, I suppose.
To be fair, the BX did come out at the time when all the power figures and the technology between the 82 or 83, whenever the Sierra was out, that little interim period while the Sierra was in there with its quite sort of old-fashioned engine, and then everything in the second half of the 80s, the game moved on quite a bit. At the end,
valves, turbos.
Well, you're looking at the Cavalier GSI at the end of it, which is a hell of a car. I mean, that's a really good.
That's 152 litres.
Yeah, but it was just an all-rounder. I mean, the BX had more. The BX was 160 out of 1.9, but
and obviously weighed a lot less.
But yeah. But yeah, I mean, they're all kind of similar.
I've got a story to tell about it. Just going quickly back to the guy with the Mark 6, if he's still listening, Mark 6 Escort. Got a little story behind that as well when we were told that the XRs were finishing and blah 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 blah, and they started doing the SIs, and then for some unknown reason, someone at Ford Marketing decided it was going to be a good idea to call an Escort a GTI. Do you remember them? Going back 97, 98. Who the hell at Ford Marketing thought putting a GTI badge was a good idea?
The one badge that Ford don't use.
No, absolutely not. They've used GT. Obviously,
Sierra GT, Capri GT,
well before
Cortina,
then. Cortinas, you know, Mark 1 Cortina, even the older Capri from the early 60s. They've all been GT badged up until sort of like 75. But yeah, GTI, for God's sake. The car itself, though, Rich, is the car. Not a lot of people might know this, but back in 1995, when the Mark 6 first came out, it was the anniversary of, again, rallying for the Escort, and they brought out a limited edition called the Ford Escort Mexico.
No, someone's mentioned this.
Back in 1995. Right, so...
Was it Ian?
What, the Mexico?
No, someone mentioned it in the chat, and it might have been Ian.
Right, well, yeah, he's absolutely right.
He's actually due on. I just realised the time.
Is it?
So you finish your turn.
I'll quickly turn the story. We haven't spoken a great deal about XRs, but then again, maybe if we do it again next year, we could, maybe, we'll see. GTI. And we thought, what the hell are they doing GTI? The Mexico was basically an LX with sort of like Cosworth type dials, and that was it. Standard 1.6, 90 horsepower. What a joke to call the car the Mexico. But then they did exactly the same thing sort of 18 months later with the GTI. But what we all felt in the Ford circles really at the time was that the GTI was the car the Mexico should have been. because it was well spec'd, it had half leather.
Wasn't a fast car, was it? It was still
115
from more like a warm
from 1.8.
hatch, yeah.
Yeah, but don't forget, the thing about the mid-90s, mate, is what killed the XRs was insurance.
Yeah.
Insurance killed them off completely. Ford thought, well, we'll get rid of the XR
They put a
name.
GTI badge on it. I mean, the insurance is mad.
Well, you had to do something. They'd lost the RS2000 had gone, the Cosworth had gone, but why? You know, Escort Mexico, I don't know. I don't know what, but GTI, no.
But maybe is it because it's so different to everything else Ford had done? They thought it would go under the radar of the insurers. And like Mexico's a name that kind of stuck in the old cars in the 70s, but doesn't really work in the 90s.
See, the early 90s with Ford, you know, I know we're pushed for time, but you know, they tried the XR4i, my favourite, obviously. They brought out an XR4i back in 1990, which was a 5-door version, horrendously expensive. Ended up selling less than 1,000 of them, and it was dropped after less than 18 months. There's too many other cars around it in the Ford range. Never mind competition.
For the competition in that sector,
you're looking at 2 litres, sports saloons, sports hatches. 1990, 1991. There's a lot better things, and we thought again. I was at Ford at the time. We thought that was going to be a 2.9. We thought, oh, they're bringing about the XR4i rear-wheel drive. We thought, oh, yeah, 2.9 it. No, standard 2-litre WRA cab. I wonder if it sold. Certainly at the money, you're looking at £15,000, £16,000.
Yeah.
Horrendously expensive.
It's not going to happen, is it?
No. I mean, it's unstable.
I've got a set of wheels from one of them.
From where?
From a GT.
GT or Azura, one or two, probably.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get rid of them.
Yeah. No one's interested in that. Yeah. That's
no, okay, right. So, what time is it?
This is, well, it's 10 past 11, so we're going to...
We need to wrap up and let Mr. Hubnut
Well, Hubnut's in... He'll be back in later anyway, so if his stint is a bit shorter now, he'll probably be back on a little bit later because we're going to do something stupid with the Rolling Road. So
yeah, but it's down to the people listening. If they want to ask a couple more questions, I'm happy.
But you getting just...
If you want a couple more dits or tales to tell, we can speak about that.
Well, I think what we'll do, we'll probably have getting Hubnut on now for the people that have waited.
Yeah.
Because the other fella is driving down and he's due in.
Yeah, he's coming down for Furlough Way, isn't he?
He's brilliant.
Okay, so can we have a quick recap of what we've made then before we go? I don't know how many. I spread the word on all my sites, my Ford sites and everything about XR.
So we are at 8291, and last year it was 8365 was the grand total.
Right.
And it is still the morning.
Okay.
And there's still 5 hours to go, so now I'm feeling quite happy. I'm feeling quite positive.
Well, yeah, listen.
At 1 o'clock, I've got to go through every single donation.
Well, I think you've done a wise move there, you know, mate, because the £20 thing, you know, with the freebies. I think because a lot of people then have,
They might have done 15. They might have thought, oh, what's the extra £5? I might win a...
Make a car salesman out of them yet, won't I?
Yeah.
So yeah, with the 20 thing, the £20 mark. What I didn't mention was we were going to... I've got a couple of freebies as well.
A glasses guy.
Anyone with a glasses guy. Just name the month and the year if you want it. You can have that as a prize. What we'll do later on, once we've all sorted out, is that we'll find out what we felt between us was the best question, and then if we can then some way of contacting them, or can we do that? And I will send you a couple of little freebies in the post to remember the day by. I can guarantee
freebies.
Yeah, I can guarantee it won't be anything to do with Citroen. I think I've put that on my Facebook page. Actually, I don't know if you haven't read that yet, have you?
I haven't looked at Facebook for like 20, God knows how long.
Okay, well,
probably since like Thursday night.
Right. Well, I've tagged you in that, and
I can share that.
Yeah, you can share that if you like. But yeah, so whoever the best question was, we'll sort of look at between us, and then we'll send you a couple of little Ford goodies in the post for your contribution. So with that, I suppose. Yeah, I'm
just going to answer Nicole Riley quickly. She said, what's the £20 thing? Something I've been sharing loads and loads and loads, but you might have missed it. So basically, any donation over £20 means that I'll put your name into a spreadsheet and allocate you a number, and then we'll use random software that pulls random numbers to pull random numbers. And whoever's numbers gets pulled, there's some freebies on the go. Chops Garage is bringing in a fair bit. We've got a Hubnut t-shirt, which Ian can't win back because he's donated £19. He doesn't want that T-shirt back. So, but yeah, we've got that.
I tell you what, if anyone donates enough money, you can have a
someone said that they like your T-shirt earlier on.
Well, they donate some money, they can have this. It's a bit old and tatty now. It's called "Flying in the Biplane," which was a quote from Motor Car Magazine from 1984 about the XR4i, because 2 wings, biplane, flying the biplane, and that's something which sort of stuck with me, and that's why.
You probably shouldn't give the T-shirt away then.
Hey?
You probably should keep the T-shirt. Not really, but yeah.
What I did bring, but no one's answered the question, is that the anorak in me, I have got here, Richard, every single performance figure for every single performance Ford from 1965 right up to 2000 and whatever.
Right, so anyone who said I was a geek...
XR, not XR4i, it's auto car figures as well. So auto car figures, to me, are probably one of the best on the market. Wise, maybe you might agree, disagree. But at least then you got the same sort of like, certainly in the era, you got the same sort of drivers driving them, and whatever. So that's why I've collected them all. I've got all the magazines at home as well, by the way. Something else for you to go through one day. They might make a few bob.
I've got all mine down there yet.
They might make a few bob on eBay one day. Anyway, it's been good to speak to you guys. I must go and sort out this.
Yeah, no, it's gone down well. I think people have enjoyed the.
Good. Again, remember do it again one day, shall we?
Yeah, I'll do some. I'll definitely keep doing something.
Yeah, and let's have a quick look. Does anyone donate anything for the T-shirt? No, 99%. I'll tell you what, I should just sit here until we get to 100%, shouldn't I, really? But
well, you want to be the one who pushes over the edge, don't you?
Nice, wouldn't it? It'd be nice, yes, for the Ford fans out there. For the Ford fans, I tell you what, where's my phone? I think I'll donate it myself.
Yeah, right, I can go now. Bye.
Yeah, I can go now. Right,
nice one.
Let's get Mr. Hubnut on.
Yeah, let's get him on. He can do a stint, and then and then we'll do.
But it's a great charity, folks. This guy's
it's a real charity, isn't it?
He's done amazingly well, this lad. You know, to do this, I put on my Facebook page that, you know, talking 24 hours on cars is not an easy gig. It's something we've all dreamed of probably doing, but it's not an easy gig. So he's doing really well, and £8,351 says it all. So well done, Richard. Your family are proud of you. I've got one of them at my house at the moment. I think he's still in bed. I think you.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I was going to try and get him and said, you know, learn a little bit about Fords, Liam, but no, none do.
So that's gone past last year.
That's brilliant. Well done, everybody, for contributing.
We beat last year. Right, I'm going home. Bye.
Yeah. Well,
right.
Yes. Thanks for it, Richard. Thanks for inviting me. Yeah. And I'll see you all in the next one.
Cheers. We'll see you Hubnut in a minute.